Okay. So there's more talk out there now about Steiner's philosophies, Anthroposophy, and I'm beginning to get into an understanding of this as I get more exposed to this information and it comes into alignment with what I already know. And what it brings my mind towards now is my own understanding of what the eighth sphere may be. I'd like to share it with you in the hope that it may help to release some of the fears associated with all of this stuff, okay? So, first of all, I'd like to share quickly that the key, in my understanding, to not getting stuck in the eighth sphere is to release the fear of death. To understand death and rebirth, and understand who you really are, your eternal nature, okay? If you understand this, then you won't fall for these traps. In order to sort of fully explain what the eighth sphere is, I'll have to first talk about what the Akash is. And in order to explain what the Akash is, I feel I must talk about what a fractal is. So, I'll start with what is a fractal. Now, the easiest way to understand, in my experience, what a fractal is to understand the cosmic nature of the human body itself, and how the human body itself is a fractal for the entire cosmos. It's our way of connecting with everything, all that is. 1 second. And okay. So the reason I started my first video with talking about connecting to listening with your heart space is that this is where we connect into this understanding of who we are, and also the understanding of what a fractal is. Because not just at the center of the electromagnetic field that is around the human body is there a heart space, but every conscious being has a heart space. Everything has a heart space. Every atom has a heart space. We call it a nucleus. Right? Every planet has a heart space. Every star has a heart space. Right? So you can go inwards and outwards, connecting to different fractal layers of who you are through this heart space. And so this fractal understanding of the nature of who you are is the first step, I guess, towards an understanding of what the Akash is. So now let's get into this. What is the Akash? The Akash is the repository of all the data, all the information that every being has experienced, that accumulates at the event horizon of the black hole that is your heart space. Okay? So, at this event horizon, this two-dimensional space, this is where the data is stored of all your experience. This, let's say, in this lifetime as Shiv Mudkur, all the data from this lifetime at least at one point was stored around the heart space here in my body. Not just physically around the heart space at the event horizon itself, although it is there. That is where it is stored. It is expressed through the entire electromagnetic field. And so as we are releasing the static that is the stuck emotion within the electromagnetic field, we are also changing our perception of the data that is stored at the two-dimensional space at the event horizon around the black hole that connects us to who we are. And this is how we clarify our self-talk. This is how we clarify our prayer of connecting to who we are and all that is. And so, as we clarify this lifetime and the data that is stored at the event horizon around this fractal layer of our beingness, we gain access to deeper levels of who we are, other fractal levels of who we are, inwards as well as outwards. We can call this gaining access to experiences from our past or future lifetimes. It's just a way of speaking about it. As we go deeper into the understanding of time, it doesn't quite make sense in that way, logically speaking. But from one perspective, the perspective of Shiv Mudkur, let's say, this can make logical sense from the perspective of the human being, yeah? We can think about things in terms of time because we are in the experience of it right now. Now, as we go beyond time, then the past and the future all collapse into the present moment, and this is how we enter the I am presence. And how we connect to the other fractal layers that we might listen to in our prayers, the layers of who we are. And now getting back to the eighth sphere, I'll say, when we become attached to the physical structure, we become attached to this lifetime and fail to understand the basic concepts of life and death and who we are as a spiritual being that can never actually die or be born, for that matter. How that is all the Maya that we are experiencing. Then we do not have to fall into these traps that are set, that are based on the fear of death. So I'd say be wary of anyone or anything or any being within yourself as well as externally, but pay attention inwards, because this is where you will receive your intuition. Pay attention to where you are making your decisions from. If it is coming from a fear of death, a fear of survival, be aware of this. And know that this is how we can get sucked into this delusional reality of believing that we are this body and that the way to gain power is to learn how to live in this body forever as Shiv Munkur, let's say. What a silly idea. But I will say, from what I can see right now, there are many who are going down this path. Many who are already living in the 8th sphere, which is kind of like a real metaverse that already exists. And these are the beings that are the most excited, let's say, about the metaverse manifesting into this reality through us. So this is where my understanding of the 8th sphere is at the moment. How that relates to the Akash and how you gather information and see the reality. And the method of how to know in your heart space that you're not going to get caught in this thing, okay? So, have faith in yourself. Namaste.